you've paid for it already, and then you're going through the course and you're like, this doesn't apply to, this isn't, wouldn't really be counted as acceptable professional development hours. So I've tried to look for it. I know the great courses have like good 10-minute previews, so you can really get an idea. You can pass the introductory stuff and really kind of get into the meat of what they're talking about without actually, going through the whole thing first. So that was really, important for me when I signed up for mine, because I went through one that I thought would be applicable, and it was more, I don't know what, it was more like sociology based, like it was looking at societies rather than actual, using the art. So I found that it was good that I had that preview. What about anybody else? Or does anyone else have news about, is anyone else presenting at a conference? Or know certain institutions close by that regularly host conferences? I just moved here in May, so I'm still learning about a lot of the places around that offer that kind of stuff. And so I'm kind of new to this too, and I, can use a little bit of improvement in professional development. But I learned a lot, and as everybody can, usually time management is the big thing. For me, time management is trying to juggle everything that's going on, so that's why I put questions are guaranteed in life, but answers aren't. So if you have a question for me, I'll try my best to answer it.
I have a quick question, and
Yes.
I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but I just want to clarify. When you're talking about like the podcasts and all of that as options, we would just do the same thing basically that we would do with an academic journal, right?
Yes.
Like do a summary on it, do a citation for it, attach
Yes.
it to the form. Okay.
Yes. Yep. And that really is the best way. And what I like to think of it is, when we ask our students when they are contributing to threaded discussions, that you must give a meaningful response, right? Is so you really need to make sure that you don't just say, okay, I watched this podcast, it was X amount of minutes long, and it was talking about, art history in ancient Greece. Well, that's pretty self-explanatory from the first 30 seconds. So, if I always take notes while it's going on, as I'm sure everyone else does, but it's something that we all need a little reminders every now and then of that. So I like to think, okay, if I were a student contributing to a threaded discussion, a meaningful response would be the following, right?
For the library webinars, there's
Yes.
one tomorrow night from 9 to 10 on health and medical resources. And then on Sunday is brainstorming search terms and the Learning Express library. And it's like from 9 to 10 o'clock at night and 4 to 5 p.m. So if anybody wants to register.
Yeah, will you go back a slide? That's what you were talking about, wasn't it? On how we go about accessing that?
Yeah, right here.
Mm-hmm.
I believe you have to email or call about it, right? Like there is no link
Yeah,
to click on.
I because I've taken a few, I had the librarian's email, and I just said how, I need to take some more, and she emailed me more of the webinars, and that's how I registered. But I don't know what her, let me see if I can find her email. Because those are, I really like those because
Okay.
we all need to be able to use the online library,
Yeah.
all of us.
Yeah. Oh, so that's where it's accessed through, okay. That would make sense since it's at 12.
You can get that information, Jamie, and email Karen,
Okay.
so she can put that information on the slide.
On the slide, yes. Because I just, I kind of had a hard time figuring out how you would
you could
register.
probably email that email or call,
And that's what I tried to do, and I emailed and got a response right away, and and registered for one that's going to be kind of down the line. So I don't know if there's any other protocol or any other way of going about doing it, but from my experience, I just emailed.
I
Yes.
can give you the email, for one of the online librarians. Her
Okay.
name's Audra Deemer. So it would be adeemer@edmc.edu.
Hey, spell Deemer.
Deemer. you email her, she'll email you back the links, and it's really fast to register.
And her first name is?
Audra?
Good.
Okay. Does anyone have a question? Yes.
Just in case, I'm just looking for something, I'm looking for a workshop or something that's gonna help me design, storyboard, and create a 5-minute video. Has
Okay.
anybody come across anything like that? Cause that's what I need to do for some of my classes.
Create a storyboard and
Yeah, and do the audio, you know, record. I know, Jing is the platform I'm gonna use, cause it's free up to 5 minutes.
right.
And it's easy to use, but I just would like to have a how-to walkthrough, so if anybody
There's some-
sees something like that,
Jing has tutorial videos.
that's true, I haven't looked out there for a long time. It's
They're
been
really good.
5 years since I've been using it, so,
Well,
but,
Been a while
but
since I've been
that,
on it
go
too.
into the academic side.
they do
And
have some.
creating a video
So,
based on,
create a
No,
video, it's a screenshot.
How-to,
everything
yeah,
you
it's,
put on-
yeah, you do a screenshot or PowerPoint, you walk through and you will record it,
and there's a-
and it records the whole thing, and then they can play it back at will.
and it
David
and it
Wilson
includes your
uses
voice.
something like that.
Who?
David Wilson,
Okay.
you may wanna ask him what he's
So-
using.
Well, it's not what he's
You're
using, I
going through
just
it,
want the
And you can
workshop,
talk into the
because I'll get it
speakerphone,
done
and
if I
it
have a
records what you're
workshop.
saying.
Right.
I think
I don't
he-
get it done if I have to do it on my own.
No, he does whatever he's doing on his desktop, and then he presents it in his class as a little, you know.
see, and I do that, but I have a Mac. And
Yeah.
so when I it records anything,
Yeah.
I can just use that function and it will record me. I can put it up here in
Yeah.
front and it records everything and then I can edit it.
Yeah, the issue is something different than what I do in the classroom. Because what you do in the classroom goes on in different areas and answers the specific things. I wanna do some online tutorials that they can walk through and see how to do a chart of accounts, how to do a journal entry, and just those 1 minute. I gotta go back through and see it. I mean, I got a student who's just texted me, who's missed 2 classes. And there's no way I can go back through everything we did the last 2 days.
Right,
And
right. So you
the
wanna
book is not
post-
enough, yeah, I
So
wanna
you're
post
saying you
how
wanna
to.
post on eCollege how to contribute an answer to the following.
Yeah, or how to do this, so that they can use it as a demonstration.
That's a great
Because what I find is that while we go through in the class, the materials and the exercises that the book does, because they read the book, they don't understand it. So you have to go through it in the class. If you miss that, they miss it all, and the textbook is really still too heavy. So I wanna do something a little lighter. There are programs out there that I know have, you know, like the drawing programs and all that, but most of them are for cost. I'm looking to do something a little bit lighter that they can also, that grabs their attention, but also gets the message across. And I haven't found anything on YouTube. Accounting is too dry for most people.
Yeah, that was not my strong suit.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people think accounting is math.
Yeah.
And that's
Until
another
you
thing, I have
take it
students
further.
that, you know, and everybody keeps in touch with the students here, cause we see them on a regular basis, and we may have had them once or twice or 3 times. And eventually, you know, you really kind of get to know what their interests are, and I ran into a student in the elevator a few weeks ago, and I said, well, what are you taking this month? And she said accounting, and she said, I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
And I said, well, that's not math. I mean, you're adding
Yeah.
numbers, but, you know, like, so.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anybody else have contributions, thoughts? Or suggestions for, you know, would you have liked to have seen something else featured on this PowerPoint? Because I can go through, make note of it, and add it.
I have a question about TED Talks.
Yes.
Can those be used as well?
I believe so, Mauricio. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then a lot of these, what I noticed too, let me go back to this podcast slide. A lot of these podcasts, especially this open culture one, has responses to TED Talks by professors,
Oh, cool.
which is really interesting. So they have the TED Talk available, and the TED Talk, they have the whole one there, and then it goes for maybe, 20 or 30 minutes. And then the professor comes on, and, they're PhD in, I don't know, biophysics or something. And gives criticisms on the TED Talk, says, well, I really would have liked to have seen this speaker touch on this issue. And then it's almost like it develops kind of almost a conversation between scholars in the field. And so I thought that was really interesting. So I keep going back to this open culture because I like it a lot, and there's a lot of discussions and comments and rates. So a lot of people go on there. It would be like if I took a class that was offered, and then people go through it and make comments about the successfulness of of the course, and was it worth it for me to devote my time to? And I'm a full-time mom. I'm a mom and I work full-time, 2 jobs, and my time is limited. Was it worth it for me to take this class? Yes or no, due to this, this, and this. That's why I kind of think that podcasts are the way to go for those of you that have limited time, because you can stop, you can pause as, stop and start as you go. And I think that the comments to the TED Talks on there were fantastic. And it really does, I think the whole point of professional development really is to create a conversation between your peers, who are also scholars in their own right, as we all are too, and in your own field. So we don't want to isolate ourselves, I think. And I think that a lot of times, you say, okay, I went to school, then they're done that, and now I'm teaching. But, I think it's our responsibility to really be custodians of continuing knowledge in our field, and making sure that we converse with one another in a way that's conducive to our own learning as well as our students. So.
Well done.
Sorry.